Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to another steaming pile of Meta Mondays. This week we're looking at the breakout deck of Genesis Impact, the machines from Constellation Draco, Drytron. Drytron came into force at LCS 9, taking second place being piloted by the legendary Jesse Cotton, as well as a top 16 finish being piloted by Pack. So what drew two of the best players of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! To this brand spanking new Ritual archetype? To figure that out, we need to look at exactly what the deck plans to do, and how it intends to get there. Drytron are an archetype of light machine monsters that can't be normal summoned or set, and if you activate one of their effects, you can't special summon monsters except monsters that can't be normal summoned or set. Seems like quite a big downside, but they really don't care. Let's run through the archetypal cards, and then we'll have a look at the plethora of support cards they use and abuse. All of the Drytron effect monsters are level 1 light machines with 2000 attack and 0 defense. Alongside the shared summoning restrictions, they also all share an effect to special summon themselves from either hand or graveyard by attributing one other Drytron or ritual monster from hand or field. I'm sure there's nothing that can abuse this. Nope, nothing at all. They also all have an effect that activates on summon, and it differs for each one. Let's start with arguably the most important of them, the leader of the pack, Drytron Alpha Thuban. Alpha's effect is super simple. Add a ritual monster from deck to your hand. We'll go over targets for Alpha's effect later, but just know, it generally isn't a Drytron. Next up is Drytron Beta Rastaban. Beta Rastaban returns one of your banished Drytron monsters to the graveyard, giving that recyclability that is so important in the current climate crisis. I mean, modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Moving on, we have Drytron Gamma Eltanin. It's alphabetic according to the ancient Greeks, okay? Gamma Eltanin lets you special summon one Drytron monster with 2000 attack from your graveyard, except another Gamma Eltanin. 2 bodies for the price of 1 is always good. Fourthly, we have Drytron Delta Altes, which lets you draw a card and summon if you reveal a ritual monster or spell, as if the deck wasn't a card advantage machine anyway. Finally, rounding out the lineup of non-ritual effect monsters, it's Zeta Aldiba, which searches a ritual spell on summon. Out of the 2 ritual monsters that exist in the archetype, only one really sees play, Drytron Meteonis Draconids. Meteonis Draconids cannot be targeted with monster effects. It can also attack all special summoned monsters once each, if the total level of monsters used for its ritual summon is 2 or less. Sounds impossible with it being a level 12 monster, but the Drytron ritual spell works in a unique way. We'll come back to that in a bit, as Draconids' effects aren't finished yet. On your opponent's turn, Draconids can banish monsters from the grave, whose combined attack equals exactly 2 or 4000, then target and send cards the opponent controls to the graveyard, 1 for each 2000 attack. Obviously, non-destruction removal is very strong, even if it does target. All of these effects existing on a big booty body of 4k attack and defense make Draconids a very solid boss monster. Drytrons also have a small selection of archetypal spells they can draw on, so let's start with a uniquely structured ritual spell. Meteonis Drytron, firstly, can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster. You have to tribute machine monsters from hand or field whose attack is equal to, or more than that of the monster you're trying to summon. It doesn't care about levels, only attack. Hence why Draconids can be summoned using 2 of the Drytron monsters, completely bypassing the fact it's level 12. It also recycles itself from the grave by making a Drytron monster on the field lose 1000 attack. The recursion and card advantage this deck can generate is ridiculous. There are 2 other Drytron spells, Drytron Fafnir, the field spell, and Drytron Nova. Drytron Nova lets you special summon any Drytron monster from the deck, with the stipulation it's destroyed during the end phase, which isn't exactly much of a downside when they can all be summoned from grave anyway. Fafnir searches a Drytron spell or trap on activation, and has that magical meltdown effect, except for ritual instead of fusions. It can also reduce the level of a monster by 1 on a normal or special summon for every 1000 attack it has. This can only be activated when you control a Drytron monster, and only once per turn. And that rounds out the archetype specific cards. These have been slotted into a light fairy shell, as you can see here from Jesse Cotton's LCS 9 list. Using generic ritual support and preparation of rites, as well as a Cyber Dragon turned Drytron Searcher in Cyber Emergency, the plan is to be able to tribute Cyber Angel Benton, searching out any light fairy you need. Fun thing to note is Benton isn't once per turn, as older cards rarely... Wait, Benton was first printed in 2016. What the actual fuck, Konami? Through abusing Benton, the card advantage becomes unbearable. You know what's a light fairy? Artifact Lancia. You know what else? Vanity's Ruler. And for a deck that barely uses its normal summon and has no problem getting bodies on the field, that's a big deal. The deck can also make use of the adorable Eva, turning this cute extraterrestrial into a nightmarish Xenos monster of card advantage, searching out things like Herald of Orangelight, a monster negate and destroy at the cost of sending another fairy monster from hand to grave alongside it, say like Cyber Angel Natasha, who steals an opponent's monster and special summons herself, all by banishing one of the Bentons you've already used, probably multiple times. Aside from all this main deck degeneracy, they have access to incredibly solid, generic extra deck options, including Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, through easy to make rank ones such as Kikinagashi Fuho, fuck if I'm saying that right, and Lyrilusk Assembled Nightingale. I think it's fairly easy to see why Drytron are a top meta contender, especially in what is shaping up to be a slower, control-dominant format. Another thing to note is how new this archetype is, and I'm sure with more time and eyes on the deck, it's only going to get fine-tuned and broken even more. If you've enjoyed this look at our Machine Metal Xenos Overlords, leave a like, let me know which deck you'd like to see covered next, and subscribe to the channel so my brain does the happy thing. Until next time, Treeborn Frog, checking out.